DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Intel, Monster Energy, and U.S. Navy.
Two matches down and several more to go. Day one of DreamHack Open Anaheim 2020 continues on here at the Anaheim Convention Center, just steps away from Disneyland, which is probably where I'm gonna go if I get some time off, because I really want to see the Millennium Falcon. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I'm your host, Bach. Joining me on the desk this weekend, it's going to be Sean, Gares, and Potter. And again, you guys are currently behind, but it's okay.
Hold up your sign again. Where's your sign, Bach?
I gotta get to my sign here. I put it in the middle of the book so it wouldn't inhibit my ability. So we've been taking predictions here on the desk. I'm 2-0, just in case that wasn't clear. They're not. They both went with Ents. They sided against the North American team. That's sort of also not North American because it's mixed nationality now. We've got a player
Canadians in there.
Yeah, but we'll give credit where credit is due.
We can throw Canadians in because they are part of North America.
I mean, it's basically just America's top hat.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever. But let's take a look at the current group that we're going to be jumping into here, the game we're about to see on stage. So Group A, that was the first match of the day, Furia versus Endpoint. It went exactly as I think a lot of us expected it to. Furia kind of came out swinging. Endpoint was not able to really show up much in that first map. And now the match that we've been waiting for. Potentially a match between two of the more favorite teams at this event. One, definitely the favorite of this event in forZe.
Yeah, I think forZe has to be the favorite to win this event. They've been playing so well. Flit and XePower. XePower is probably one of my favorite players to watch right now. But Flit does put up crazy amounts of damage. I think his damage per round the last 3 months is like over 80. It's phenomenal what he's been able to do on the rifles. So I think forZe probably are the favorites in this matchup, but who knows, how prepared MSL is going to have this team, because that is the key thing to look out for. Is in the past, North has looked so poor strategically, but that's not going to happen anymore with MSL at the helm.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with North coming in with such drastic changes, a new in-game leader, and they just got a new coach over since we saw them last at DreamHack Open Sevilla, where they actually walked away with that first place, which was surprising. It was a nice, pleasant surprise coming out of the north side of things, but I have to ask myself, the caliber of teams that showed up at that DreamHack in Sevilla was a lot different than the caliber of teams that we're seeing here in Anaheim. So I think with North, they've got to elevate it to a whole nother level to be able to compete.
A kind of interesting thing, too, is the dynamic with Jumpy coming in as the coach. He's Swedish. The team is entirely Danish.
Yeah, I saw that.
Even though those languages are
Heroic's
similar.
coach is also Swedish.
So, you kind of wonder, what is the language dynamic like? Do they comm in Danish and then are breaks in English? Or
It's in English.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm kind of curious, how much he's able to take in, because when they're live and around, I assume they speak Danish.
All speak perfect English.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, they could definitely communicate in English if they wanted to. They shouldn't comm in English in-game, though. I'd imagine Jumpy can understand Danish.
A little bit. If you ask a Swedish person, they can understand some Danish, but not all of it. And
comms are pretty simple, too. Kind of repetitive, so I'm sure he understands the comms.
There's also a long-standing feud between Danes and Swedes, so it's interesting to see them unite together. It's mostly a meme these days, but it was a thing at one point in time, a long-standing feud between Danes and Swedes.
Look, we have a Swedish production team. I'm not going to say who's on top lately. The results speak for themselves. I'm hearing some Wrong crowd. Uh-oh.
we're hearing producer Daggy
All right,
coming into the ear.
I mean, we could just do we just throw her under the bus and announce her prediction live on air for who's going to win this event?
Should we do it?
She's saying no, she doesn't want to be a part of the show, and that's understandable. We are going to take a look at the maps here in just a second to see what maps are going to be played. Do you guys have any expectations based on what we've seen from them in the past?
I'm going to say something safe like Mirage. I think, you know, MSL has always shown that he likes Mirage. forZe are very good on the map. I don't know if we're going to see this new updated Dust 2 with the B-bomb site. I don't know if I want to see it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that open sky.
I don't know how I feel about it still. Yeah, forZe clearly going to ban that right away. I think we're going to end up going Mirage, which is going to be really cool to see how that bench in. Oh no, North ends up banning it out.
Yeah.
Is Nuke again? I think Nuke is like sneaking up as going to be like one of the most popular maps this year because all of the other ones have recent changes. And at this point, people love Nuke.
Exactly. It does seem like all of 2019, it was a decision between Vertigo or Nuke, and most teams chose Vertigo a little bit to gamble, and now coming into 2020, it's like Nuke has to be the map, because what's it going to be, Vertigo or Nuke, you know?
Yeah, a lot of these teams, you know, they have to have 6 map pools in order to play best of 3s, so they have to decide which maps they don't want to play. It used to be Nuke when Nuke was the map thrown into the pool, but now that Vertigo's in there, Dust 2 has the B skybox changes, people are swinging towards Nuke now, it looks like, and it's going to be one of the most played maps.
The crazy thing is, too, that Dust 2 wasn't exactly a super popular map prior to the changes. A lot of teams were like not super keen on it because they still remembered the old Dust 2.
Yeah.
And they didn't love the new one so much.
There's a lot of randomness when you play Dust 2, especially in best of ones, and I can't imagine opening the B skybox is going to reduce the randomness.
I mean, Envy LDLC.
Yeah.
MLG Aspen going way, way back.
Yeah.
Envy was the best team in the world. No one thought anything of, or not Envy, it was LDLC, I think, and CLG.
Are you talking about Aspen where Peter put them
had
in the
that
dirt?
7 HP clutch? Yes. I remember that
good
so
memory.
vividly.
Yeah.
It was like 15-14, and he clutched it to close out the game. We thought it was going to overtime, and it didn't. But like no one would have said that was going to happen because at the time, they were the best team in the world, and CLG was nowhere near the contention for them.
Yeah. But here we have Nuke. Not so random, in my opinion. I think Nuke is a super strategic map with the wall smoke outside, and there's a lot of crazy metas going on as far as, you know, how to place that down early round. The CTs were throwing the molly to put out the smoke, and then the Ts started throwing the molly so that way their smoke landed on top of the molly, and then now you might have CTs throwing a smoke on top of the T molly. It's just everyone's wasting a lot of utility to get this wall smoke down outside, and it's so fun to look at.
We did have a chance to sit down with forZe to talk about what they might expect to see. Let's take a look.
Feels good. I didn't play any games yet, but the California, United States, it's a lot of sun here, and actually I live in St. Petersburg. There is no sun over there, so I'm already feeling really excited about this tournament. We have North, Gen G, and Fury in our group, and I'm pretty sure that this tournament will go well for us. I know there is a thing, the cold karma, and you can't say that, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fine, at least in the group stage. Actually, we have 4 weeks of pracs. That's something new for us because there before in the last year we practiced like 1 week. Our whole team is feeling really good. We came in the USA in the 1 day earlier, and we don't have jet lag now. So everyone, every member of team, including coach and manager, are feeling good.
So much energy in that interview
Jerry.
compared to the last two. He's got like a vibrant personality.
Yeah, and I mean, not only vibrant personality, but his answers are so descriptive. He's articulate. He's answered a lot of questions that I had coming into this leading up, and I think the 4-week practice, it should bode really well for this forZe side of things. Just thinking back on like Almazer's position on this team, he's one of those players that seems to be quiet in the server as far as in the fragging department, but when his turn comes up, when it's his time to shine, he usually does end up capitalizing on those moments. But I'm hopeful that he was able to just watch his teammates, know exactly how he's going to react, and be able to capitalize on his mate's aggression.
Yeah, I love Jerry. Like, he's like a wholesome person. Whenever he gives interviews, he gives so much information out, which obviously could hurt forZe, but it's so refreshing to hear an in-game leader, you know, talk about the demos that he watches and the fact that he sat in Kerrigan's computer and he looked at, what's in Kerrigan's config, what demos was Kerrigan watching. He tells you that kind of stuff in interviews, which is really cool and insightful into their team and how they operate. And the way he's progressed personally as a player reminds me a lot of my career, actually. When I first started watching him, he was making a lot of individual mistakes, and he's cleaned up his game a lot. Like, he knows how to set up his players on his team in such a strong way. He sets up XP so well with the AWP.
I gotta say, there is something interesting about a player who kind of divulges that much information without even thinking about, like, could this hurt us? Like, or like he told us about the CSPPA gentleman's agreement regarding the models. I was like, is he supposed to be telling us this? I'm not exactly sure if this is okay.
He's snitching.
Hey, keep telling us everything, Jerry. Don't stop.
Now, we also sat down with North to talk to them about what they might expect at their tournament run. Let's take a peek.
I think we feel prepared, more than we were in Leipzig. I think now we're really finding our ground. I would say we have added MSL back in. First time for me to play with him, and I think we finally found the structure we're supposed to have as a team. And now adding Jumpy in, I think we have just the perfect puzzle for a good team, and now we just gotta deliver. I always like to have high thoughts of myself and the team, so yeah, good chances.
A lot of confidence. Feeling comfortable with the changes that were made recently, bringing in MSL and also bringing in Jumpy.
Yeah, so ever since Gade, prior to MSL joining, Gade was the IGL of North, yes.
North.
And his gameplay stepped up massively, and he's somehow kept that ever since MSL rejoined the team. And because of that, I see them as a contender, right? Now, I will say, AZ and KJB have to step up individually if this team wants to make deep runs. Even in a tournament, like a DreamHack Open, they need every player to step up on this team. They just don't have the firepower.
Exactly, and I mean, when we think back even to DreamHack Sevilla, where they actually ended up winning that tournament, it was MSL and it was Gade at the forefront. They were the responsible players that were bringing in all the frags on the scoreboard. So you're absolutely right, Sean. It has to be AZ. I'm looking towards Caribbean as well. I mean, he was such a promising, strong player, and although he did play very well in Sevilla, I need more of that. In Leipzig, he fell flat. He was absent. When they made it all the way towards the second day, he didn't show up in those clutch scenarios, in those clutch moments. So North absolutely need their key players to step up and be able to deliver when it counts.
So here's a question. Looking at the Danish scene right now, for a long time, North was considered like the number 2. Have they lost that position, or are they at...
They lost it a while ago, Locke.
They lost.
They lost it a while ago.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. But predictions, Christine, what do we got?
Ooh, I got to go with forZe here. I think forZe's aggression is fantastic to watch. I love watching this team play, and especially on Nuke. I thought their variations and innovations on that outside connector yard was amazing to watch. I'm hoping that I see a lot more of that here today.
Oh, I so really want to go with North right now. Ooh, I think I want to go with North, and I really have no reason for this other than the fact that MSL is a legit in-game leader, and he loves playing Nuke. I've always liked his strats on Nuke. I've stolen some before in the past, so I think he's gonna have a really good game plan here.
I'm going to have to go with forZe. I think that firepower is going to be a serious problem for North. I don't think that they're going to be able to take those duels outright. I think that forZe will bail themselves out of bad situations just on firepower alone. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Twitch chat vote. Yeah, they agree. Yeah. 65-35. Do you want to change your vote?
I really don't feel good about it. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm going to fall into the 1 and 2 pit.
Scribble it out.
Yeah.
I'll just go up to the screen with a marker and just change it. And write North, no. forZe, yes.
I'm gonna Viking funeral me out here.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to shoot a flaming arrow at you. We are going to throw things to a break, but when we come back, it'll be these two juggernauts duking it out on stage. Stay tuned.
spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. It is DreamHack Open Anaheim, and we have quite an interesting game on our hands. North versus forZe. I think, personally, I'm also leaning towards forZe with this one, but I think Sean isn't wrong to have faith in MSL. We haven't quite yet seen what this new look North is capable of, so what are your thoughts, Dust?
Yeah, I mean, they've only played one tournament since MSL has come back as the in-game leader, which was over in the open event in Leipzig, and they took a group stage exit, but they did have a couple of good maps that looked good, including Nuke, where they did actually beat Heroic on that map. So, and they were very close to winning that series. I think they lost Overpass in like double overtime, so a very good chance that they would have maybe even made semifinals. So I think that it's interesting. I think they at least have a leader, but I'll tell you what, forZe really piqued my interest at the end of last year and into this year because they beat EG in a best of 3 at Epicenter. They obviously had the win at DreamHack Winter, where they beat a couple of decent teams along the way, like Furia and what is now Mad Lions. They also had that Blast Moscow performance where they made the finals and had a close series against what is now a VP, but formerly Avangar, and they beat some good teams in the best of ones. And Navi was interested in some of their players because of this, Flit and Z Power respectively, and those two guys are definitely really, really good players. So yeah, I think that this should be a fun game.
And we are on Nuke once more, and
Indeed.
Nuke is always a very interesting map in the terms of how teams play it strategically. There's a lot of deviation at the top level, and it still feels like there's no singular way, and it is very much a matchup dependent in a way that you should run your strats. So we'll see how that is interpreted by these two teams that you see on your screens right now. And you can see also, one of the things called into question, which I never necessarily thought would be the case with a team like North, but their firepower is being called into question.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We know that they have the ceiling, but the problem is that ceiling, it doesn't seem like those peaks are reached consistently enough to give an argument towards firepower. So
I feel like it's been a long time since
one.
PRB's been a truly gifted star player. Same for AZ. Like, they both are decent players and sometimes can have good games, but not like true stars that you can carry a game consistently or something like that. And then MSL, outside of one MVP performance at DreamHack Masters Stockholm, which is like his claim to fame with the AWP, he's just going to be good. He'll be decent, but he's just not going to be like a world-class opera or something like that, right? And Gade is more of a role-playing entry fragger, kind of like a Freakazoid from Cloud9 2015 Summer Run or something like that, where he can create openings and do some stuff, but he's probably not going to, again, put out like heavy fragging out. But meanwhile, you have a guy like Z Power, who's an absolute stud over on the forZe side, and Flit also has a very consistent, powerful rifle. And so I feel like firepower-wise, North can sometimes be outmatched against forZe. Now, forZe also a good Nuke team, by the way. Like, the team the map they play a lot. They've beaten some pretty good teams on it at times, including teams like Navi and Furia. So I think that's it's going to be a tough one for North here.
Yeah, and this forZe lineup has been together in this iteration for quite some time, and we could see Jerry in the interview saying that they've been going through a lot of practice, and they clearly appear extremely prepared and ready for this tournament. And this is a tournament which, honestly, they have the capability to win. If all their ducks line up and in a row and everything goes according to plan, they've got the skill to do it, they've got the preparation to do it, they've got the experience as well. We can't forget that they have had their fair share of final stages at this point. But here we go into the action. forZe on the T side and North on that CT side. We'll have to see strategically how it looks from the get-go, and it looks like it may be rather explosive, quite literally, as that door is going to be sent flying, and AZ also will have to back away from the initial engagement.
Indeed. Shots being exchanged quick into a 3-on-3 here in this upper bomb site. Gade still surviving behind the default location, trying his damnedest to put some bullets out there. Eventually is going to send one down range the right way onto Almazer, but KRB and Cage and B will be the ones cleaning things up in the end. Still a victory for North nonetheless. A little bit chaotic. I mean, it was a little bit dicey. The bomb actually did get planted and all of that, but North do lock it up.
One of the things I do like about, and it can be, I guess, a pretty contentious point here, but something I do like is that the fact that you do have this, $1,900 instead of the typical $1,400, that change if you lose the first round specifically. And with the extra $800 for each team member after the bomb plant, I like the options that a team like forZe has here. They have a force buy option which is very deadly, and it keeps things spicy. I would say. And we're going to see them actually going for this force buy. The single AK has been collected onto Flit. Lots of utility. Mac 10s. It's going to be a fast round here. Oh dear, I'm not sure what's going on there with the door, but it looks like AZ will get down the vent. So he's going to be there to block any fast approaches down the vent, but there is not to be any, it seems. And Cajun B and Kirby are able to defend, meanwhile, towards ramp. And forZe are not getting any traction with this buy.
That doesn't seem that way. Flit is going to be able to control ramp room just a bit, but they're still down the numbers. That is the real problem. We're waiting to see what they want to do with these remaining 3 players, particularly since one of them is going to be very low HP. That's Jerry with 12. Flit trying to see if he can make a maneuver into the heaven area, but is to no avail. KRB is going to be able to pick that thing up. And so it's all on Z-Power and Jerry. Bomb in a very precarious spot where Z-Power will have to force his way through to see if he can't pick it up. KRB, though, of course, is going to have that angle locked down. MSL has mostly everything else covered as well here. So it is going to be another round the way of North, and they didn't really even lose much in the process. So that is always nice.
Yeah, what a great result. You know, those rounds can be extremely dangerous. You know, you're going in there as forZe with the element of surprise. They don't know that you've gone for this force buy. They know it's possible, but they don't know. You get to play a fast round. It could have lots of utility to, you know, force the CTs off of position, block their line of sight to the defense. It can cause all kinds of problems, but they hold on, and forZe will be kept at bay this time. Just a few deagles to scout there to at least try to keep the CT economy honest, but given that there was no damage in the previous round, forZe really need a result here in terms of at least 2 or 3 kills. That would really be ideal to make up for the previous round.
Certainly. Deagles and Scout out there certainly can pose a little bit of a threat to North, so they are going to have to be careful, but still certainly have a massive advantage going into this one. Trying to see if they can get that ever-coveted 3-0 start. You love to have those, especially on your CT side of Nuke in particular. KRB is spotting a couple of players here towards outside. He's done a little bit of gunfire, but not a lot of damage. In fact, he's the one that's been receiving the blunt of the blows over there. MSL trying to come over and assist him with the Scout.
Prodding, poking outside. forZe not getting anything just yet. You've got to be careful if you're the CT side. These deagles can be problematic. MSL with the Scout, though, will get some damage out there as forZe still looking for those deagle kills.
It's a toughie. There's no smoke for the cross outside, right? So, I mean, it's kind of just a shooting gallery at this point. And that's all she wrote, Dan. I don't see a whole lot happening here.
Beautiful from AZ. Trying to finish it off with the HE, and it's MSL to do so. AZ again, like, I feel like we could see a really big resurgence from him this year. You know, if everything goes according to plan in terms of the way MSL rebuilds his team, AZ is somebody that has an insanely high skill ceiling. We just don't tend to see it too often, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think they're trying to put him in that role at least. I don't know about Nuke, but on other maps I was watching demos for, it seemed like they had him paired up with Gade as kind of an entry duo, and they were trying to let AZ be that main trade fragger, that main secondary guy, to give him like a star role. So we'll have to see if that happens. As Kirby's actually taken over all of Valda's old roles. So Valda has changed his role for now the 3,000th time since he's been on North. Maybe it'll work out this time. We'll have to see. So far, so good for North. We can say that on Nuke.
And you can see the smokes forced out, the repositioning forced out into North, whereby they have to respect the fact that forZe have threatened outside. They don't know how many people are going down secret. They have to drop the smokes. They have to fall back a little bit. You see Gade here having to hold down 2 positions. He does, of course, have a man behind CT vent, so they can play like a bait setup there.
Right.
And that's important, but ultimately, a minute left, and forZe have actually gained a lot of ground. They've done well here with their time.
Yeah, it's still plenty on the clock, and they do have access now to those back halls into the lower bomb site. AZ playing position here. Very nice headshot on to face crack, and he's looking to crack more faces himself here as Flit is presenting himself. Just not able to quite line the mark up just yet, but that grenade is going to do some real damage to Jerry.
Oh dear, AZ's mad. He's doing a lot of damage here. Jerry put into a very desperate situation. He'll run to his doom. And another round for North, and it's kind of appearing similar to that Genji face-off that we just had, whereby Genji's opposition in Ends couldn't really. They could kind of get the defaults going, but they can never get that last step, that final phase of the round where you convert the map control you've gained from the default into a bomb site take. We're struggling so far to see forZe do that, but it is still early.
Certainly true, and now they'll be back to basics here, just the pistols and a couple of MAC-10s. They do have armor and a little bit of utility behind it. One for like one quick go, basically, and look at that. It is indeed going to be the fast play over towards upper. FaceCrack with the entry, Z-Power and company as well pitching in. It's now just Cajun B and Kierby left, actually. FaceCrack has just gone on a tear this round, and somehow, some way, man, in the blink of an eye, they locked that one up.
Yeah, that's pretty that's pretty intense. It's just like running through Mini like a madman with this MAC-10, just instantly killing AZ. That just, you can see just the collapse there, like a house of cards, like a load-bearing pillar just removed, everything collapsing down around it. Just not ready for that fast pace, just catching it completely off balance. And that's the end of forZe needed. And we can see that all the money pretty much is going to get spent here for North. They hadn't really built up just that much just yet. The auto shotgun comes out from Gay. That could be quite fun.
Yep, this is the one map where you will see that weapon come out on the CT side. Actually, a fair amount. So we'll see if it gets good use this round. It's kind of odd. Like, they just didn't have any utility on Hut to stop a fast play, which the CTs seem to have enough economy to be able to put those smokes and scenarios down, but they just didn't. And so not only did they get the mini sneak in so fast, but it also allowed other players to kind of come out in all the madness without any utility stopping them. Meanwhile, though, this round, MSL has gotten a pick on FaceCrack with AWP. I don't think outside was quite smoked off enough all the way, so he was able to catch a kill through some type of gap or something.
AC Power with the orb, that's definitely the gun for the job there. He's got that right eye peek against the left eye peek of his opponent, so he gets a small advantage, and on top of that, the AWP on a walk angle is certainly favorable. So, well done by forZe, having the right man there for doing the right job. And look at the repositioning here. AC Power now on the outside, quick rotation from him. And 40 seconds to go, and forZe need to now find a way in. They've got the picks, it's all very cool, but they've got to make their way to the fight now.
It's tough. They don't have those outside smokes to cross. So MSL is just having free reign, catching players, trying to get to the stairs, and now Kierby as well, no threat to his back on the sneaky door side, able to focus down himself on outside. And I feel like it's just key pieces of utility being missing here. Like, they can't even run anything because they can't even get started.
Yeah, and AZ, he's been so good in these headshot positions. He's delivering time and again. And yeah, they didn't have any smokes remaining, and it's a really difficult position to be in when you don't have any ground. And you're like, well, we got no smokes, so that's cool, I guess. And it was the right rotation as well for MSL. You can see him; he was playing down towards Hell, towards the lockers, and it could have just been the case that he would have been rotated elsewhere, and maybe he would have missed that cross. But he's in the right place. They had a good read.
It's like, it's one of those things where it's like a necessity smoke. I liken it to, you know, smoking off CT spawn when you're attacking Banana on Inferno. It's one of those smokes that you just gotta have, and if you don't have it, you can't really go for it. You have to hope that someone misses, and you never want to put yourself in a situation where you have to hope that someone's missing or not there at all. It's just really, really tough to count on that, and it certainly cost forZe in that round.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there are changes, if they can find adjustments so they can make more bigger moves in the mid round and really capitalize, because they did create a good spot for themselves. But into the next one we go, where we see it's not the best buy in the world. We'll have the outside smokes, at least something resembling it. There is a gap actually, which is a huge problem. There can't really be this gap. That's a massive gap actually. It's not just, it's a chasm. Oh dear. There's the second smoke. Oh, well, it's still a gap.
I think we didn't see it on stream, but I'm thinking that there's some type of incendiary North is using to mess up their outside smoke wall, which is a very Danish thing to do. So maybe we can catch that in a different round, but I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what's causing forZe a lot of problems.
What's in the meta right now at the top level is that the Ts will put the smoke in front of Secret, but not do that smoke between that smoke and the T-Red container, and then when they get close to the T-Red container, they'll just like throw it straight on so that they can avoid what you're talking about, where the CTs, as you say, throw that fast incendiary that's designed to force a gap.
But when you're not using a consistent lineup, you run into those problems with the gaps, and that's really hurt them a lot.
Definitely issues. AZ, man, he's unstoppable, immovable from this position. Once again, getting himself 2 kills. He's truly is a problem in that position, and there is a quick burst in the upper bomb site.
That's
a dead body of his, a teammate model as well. So I don't know what the science is.
It's raining men on AZ right there in the vent. So it's getting wild with these dead players. Nonetheless, we do have a 2v4 post plant. I'm not liking their chances, Dan.
But there is a chance. There's a will, there's a way. Although now it's just down, never mind.
It's over.
Never mind, it's all over. We'll forget it even happens.
That's wild. MSL just shot a dead teammate. Fair enough.
Cool, man. She's just
Can never be too
flexing.
sure.
So, I mean, off to an absolutely just amazing start here for North. Everything has gone their way. Nothing that forZe have really done has worked out, except the one round that they got was catching North off balance with a fast timing attack with Mach 10s. That's not replicable. That's not something you can rely on as an approach to winning rounds. So it's a round, but it's a problem. It's a huge problem for forZe. They won't have extra power outside at this point. Looking for any peaks.
It's looking very similar to when North played Heroic in Leipzig. They got 12 rounds on their CT side in the first half of that game and were able to skate away with the victory in that best of 3. And it's kind of shaping up that way here as well thus far. We'll see if forZe can have a different conclusion than the Heroic boys. Seeing them lining up some smokes here outside. Perhaps looking to do some type of upper take. They do have the Molotov for top hut as well. So they want to try to explode here on upper. There's no utility in their face yet, but as soon as it starts pouring in, Gade and company do have the nades and folks they need to maybe put a stop to it.
Gade is not on fire though, so this could be a problem, but he will be taken down by the split. 80 though, by CT Vent trying to do what he can, but Kirby's gonna have to swing in to make up for the lack of damage that was done by the A bomb site defenders. And now Cajun B is perhaps left with too much weight to lift, and he may have to give this one up, but he looks interested in doing some exit damage, which would be quite smart considering that the economy of the T side is very weak, and he can compound that problem for them, and his risk is not that huge, given that their economy, the CT's economy, is pretty decent. That said, you never want to give away a Krieg, you never want to give up a Krieg on the CT side, especially on a map like this. The Kriegs are so good.
So finally, forZe finding some success. After a few rounds off and after a hot start from North. It looked like at first it might not work out. I think their Molotov top hut actually missed, as we were talking about, but...
It seemed to go on the catwalk.
Maybe they were thinking someone would be there instead. Either way, they were able to get their trades into the upper site just fine.
That is painful. 2 exit kills there. That actually really hurts the economy of forZe. Well played, well played.
Lots of rebind taking place here for forZe. They do have some type of technical timeout that's come in, I believe. So a little bit of a halt to play, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now what's been interesting for forZe is, well, for North that is that they've been proving that they can hold any slow defaults, any situations where, you know, the typical map control plays are coming through from the forZe side. North seem pretty well equipped in dealing with it. They slow it down, they reposition, they pick up their kills, respectively. It's only the rushes and the set piece now that forZe have found success with. So they're still in a desperate position, I'd say.
Indeed, this time the fire is going to land top hut and push the CT off. Gade, though, looking to actually push through a challenge. Finds the headshot on the Almazer. That was a well-done play. It evens things back up after the initial entry from the T side. But now Jerry and FaceCrack are really starting to leverage their position in this round. They've gotten the edge right back, and MSL just gets caught blindsided. It's all on Cajun B in the 1v2 now. He's got 1 kill to his name, make that 2. But would need to find the quad to get the victory. I think he actually did have the bomb down towards himself in lobby, but he's kind of giving it up. Doesn't want to just be worried about being backstabbed from ramp, or there's so many angles he has to worry about, but he does have that bomb, and that is a big problem for forZe.
It's all about timing here. In a situation like this, neither team knowing where the other players are. Cajun B, that's a lot of information, seeing that molly come through, and he hears the stepping too. This is brilliant for Cajun B. He's got the advantage, gets the first kill. 1 more player to find. 40 seconds left. Plenty of time for FaceCrack to slow play this if he wants. If he wants to reset it, he can. But he goes for the push around the corner, just barely missing Cajun B, but he has made his way towards the spot where he can plant now. And Cajun B, again, he can be absolutely anywhere as far as FaceCrack is concerned. Here comes the peak. Cajun B set it up, but he can't land the shot. Very unfortunate. I feel like Cajun B played that so well for FaceCrack as well. Great read. He looks for that spot, and he is rewarded. Great stuff there. What a clutch to win.
Oh my goodness, that's so tough to watch because Cajun B played it so well throughout every step of that process. He just didn't happen to land the very last shot he needed. I feel like everyone was rooting for Cajun B at that point just because of how much he accomplished on his way there. But in the end, Counter-Strike doesn't care about your feelings. It's going to be 6-3 for forZe. Great job by FaceCrack to salvage the round after a round that they were kind of ahead in most of the way through. do eventually finish it off even after some struggles on that journey. So keeping the game close. They've now won the last 2 in a row, and they've won the last 3 out of 5. So it's like that 4-0 start from North, and now it's starting to even up a little bit.
Well, we're in for it seems like a turning point to the match here. North looking so dominant, but cracks have shown, and forZe has shattered the armor. And now they are taking control. However, we've seen rounds like this be problematic at the best of times. So we'll see how forZe handle it. Lots of pistols there to do some damage. Flip with the MAC-10. It's the tool for the job. No one has a helmet, so that makes the MAC-10 even better.
Absolutely.
And forZe really giving a lot of respect to North here, just waiting things out a little bit.
Yeah, all is quiet thus far, but in the meantime, Jerry is getting so much control of the map, can clear the entirety of outside. He's going to be able to backstab heaven. I think he even spotted a player over towards Mini. So he's getting a lot of intel, even if they're not necessarily doing anything just yet. They're setting up very nicely, and so there is the kill onto KRB. Here comes the push into the upper box by CajunB and Gane. Able to find a couple, but not enough to pose a real threat. It's all going to be on CajunB. No armor, but he does have the SG in his hands. There are one player, at least, that's quite low on HP. But not going to come into the equation. 6-4 now, so forZe is starting to chip away at this.
It is happening. And I have to say it's surprising. It seemed, again, I mean, in Counter-Strike, one of the interesting things is that you don't necessarily have to have, let's say, amazing defaults and amazing answers to everything, but it's just winning the right scenarios, the right situations. And forZe have actually managed to do that to break the economy of North, but North are back in it with the buy. A bit more aggressive here from KRB outside around the T-Red container, looking to cause some damage to create some opportunities here for North. Because the MSL sniping the angle. He'll try to take contact first so that KRB has a distraction to play off of. The smokes dissipate and KRB's looking for that flag. Great transfer from KRB. He gets himself two. And not just that, he gains information, key information. Now North know where those 2 other players are. The bomb was spotted as well. And that's really annoying for forZe because they know that right now that all of North know exactly where they are, and likely by that notion what they're trying to do as well.
Yeah, it's so tough. I feel like outside has been a real problem for forZe, whether it be the smoke wall issues with gaps or just the smoke not being there at all, getting picked off by KRB or MSL and the cross towards outside. That has been something that's haunted them several different times throughout this half. Now, this round, they actually do get a player into lower with a jump run boost. They still, though, find themselves a man down as we approach the latter stages of this round. 43 seconds left here on the clock. Still not really sure what forZe want to do at this point. Again, they do have some presence towards lower, but Almauser is still at lobby, and they still have one player just kind of drifting in a more passive position outside. So again, I'm not really sure what their game plan is just yet, but they need to figure out something fast. Time is running low now.
AZ with a pretty strong position here. The molly will not go to him either, so still remains very strong. Gate is the bait. And AZ is still in that squeaky position by the vent. Ready to strike, but there's no one coming in for them. And there it is, the switch is down to lower, and almost a chance for CajunB there as MSL turns his attention to the wrong location. Just barely whiffs the shot. And the trade is through from Almauser. Gade stops the plant up, but there's no time. My God, Gade slow played it, and it worked out perfectly. So much confusion for both sides, I think, in those situations, but North barely scraped by to come out on top.
Indeed, they're doing great work right here so far. forZe coming into this game trying to snap a 3-game losing streak on Nuke. They lost all 3 of their Nuke games at Epicenter, 2 to EG, 1 to Heroic, but historically still a map that they've usually been quite good on. They've had their issues, though, so far on this T side. It must be said, particularly outside has been a real, thing that they haven't been able to tackle just yet. Maybe this is the round. Smokes are out. This time there is no real stopping them. They do get into lower. Finally.
Yeah. However, KRB heard the pitter-patter of many T steps, many T feet running across towards the secret stairs. And so there is a lot of information here for the North side. And they've stopped it dead with a smoke. And this now creates some spots where they can try to investigate outside. Do they see a double back from the T players that they know are down the secret position? And forZe, do they feel committed at this point? big nade going forwards. How much damage? Okay, chunky damage to face crack and to flit.
Yep.
And AZ repositions.
That was a thick boy nade, that is for sure. Smoke slowed down forZe a little bit here, but then they're starting to get into these vents and into the back halls and looking to really attack. And they even had the option to still maybe try to go for upper. That would be interesting. They have to funnel a lot of players through ladder to actually make their way to upper from where they're positioned now, but we'll just have to wait and see. Time is ticking. They are just kind of biding it, waiting to see if North will show themselves anywhere. But so far, everyone's holding firm, but they do decide to use a smoke to get up the vent and into the upper site. But Gage so far has been up to the task. He's found 2, not quite a third, but he's bought some time.
Gage did really well there, that is for sure. I could really see him getting very surprised in that position, but he handles it so well. 2 kills, a little bit of delay, a 4v3 retake here. There is not a huge amount of CT utility remaining at this point, so that could be a problem. You'd really love a molly here, but KHB with the big flashbang. How good is this flashbang going to be as they will burst through down from the heaven position? MSL and Kirby taking lives here. There's nothing left standing for forZe. They got completely devastated by that push. Excellent stuff from North on the retake.
Yeah, a lot of credit, though, to Gage. Those initial 2 kills were so massive. Again, not only is he getting his team a man advantage, but he's buying time for rotations, people to reposition, set up utility for the retake itself. And North have been on an absolute tear this game, up 8-4 now. They've won the last couple in a row. They, of course, had that really big start where they were up 6-1. That really helped them, obviously. We've seen some recovery from forZe. The problem is, it's only come in bits and pieces. They haven't been able to string together many rounds in a row, and their economy, because of that, has suffered. Even around that they won earlier, KHB got those big exit kills. So they've dealt with a lot of different types of problems throughout this game, and once again, the smoke wall outside's not there.
Indeed. And it's looking quite desperate getting into the upper bomb site. They are being halted. But I can't even, well, barely able to get out of the hut position before getting eliminated. And another round going to North. So it looked like, again, that forZe had won the right rounds. They destabilized North, but we're seeing that difficulty in their defaults coming through once again. They don't quite have the oomph after they get that map control in how they actually finish the round. And it seems to be plaguing them here as North once again.
And the problem is now the utility there for North pretty much prevents you from doing any type of fast upper plays. You're going to get stalled out by incendiaries or smokes or take a lot of utility damage. Look at MSL, though. He's changing things up. He's looking to get in a forward position towards outside. He's got KRB with him as well. And they are striking some damage. Unfortunately, MSL misses that op shot, though, but able to get a nade and then re-peek and find the frag nonetheless. And that's a quick 5-on-3 for North. That's a nightmare if you're forZe. Not only have you struggled outside all game long, just being able to smoke your way to stairs, but now you're taking casualties before you even get to red.
Yeah, oh, it just kills it, doesn't it? So difficult on this map. Just the way that the rotations work for the CTs is so hard. It's like train. It's like the CTs can just be everywhere. And Power trying to get, I mean, that's such an unfavorable angle, and I think he knows it. I think that's just a show of desperation to try to go for that, as forZe are left with 2 players now, Jerry and Almeza, working on the ramp position. They do have the bomb in their possession, so that is something, I suppose, as they make their way down to the lower bomb site. The only option afforded them by North's movement, and AZ knows about it, picks up the kill onto Almeza as he goes through control, and Jerry, he can't plant safely. There is this corner to work from, but you can see there's that smoke in there just in time, but the spray comes through, forced into the open, nowhere to go, and forZe will concede another round. They at least get the bomb planted, but at this point, Dust, it doesn't seem like that is any consolation.
No, it's really not. It's just been a clinic from North. I mean, AZ has been just an absolute giant on guarding that lower bomb site. And then you've seen MSL and KRB really be that tag team duo that defends all the different outside types of pushes. And those are the 3 best fraggers in the server right now, actually. So that really just kind of tells the story. 10-4 for North. They've won the last 4 in a row, plus they had the first 4 rounds of the half. So they're going to open strong and seemingly finish strong this half. Timeout comes out from forZe. This is their second timeout they've taken this half. Can't blame them. Again, they had that one little run where they got a few rounds, but outside of that, it has been a sea of North.
Yeah, it's not really seemed like there's been that proper answer from forZe. If they can scrape together that 5th round, you know, that is a pretty comfortable place, all things considered. But we'll see if they can find a way to do so. I'm sure reflecting on what has worked, so we might actually see like an upper set piece or something again, as that was one of the more successful rounds that they ran. They have the opportunity to maybe go for a mini split if they use those 2 outside players for that, but it looks like they may be going down towards Secret here initially. Indeed, Kirby will be able to hit a stepping as he is close by T-Red.
MSL also got on top of Red and might even be able to backstab them in secret, which, again, it's different looks from North. Like, MSL's been aggressive. He's been passing towards Heaven with the op, and now he's in a position to backstab secret. So it's given forZe a lot of different looks to have to worry about as they approach this outside control, which, I mean, it's just basics for Nuke. It's like taking mid control on Mirage or something like that. Like, it's something you just kind of have to have as a staple. And look at this. MSL has actually creeped into a different position with the AWP. Now he's watching a ramp.
Kirby will go down for a 1-for-1, but the trade is there from Gade and from the hot position, ready to strike at a moment's notice. And now the challenge AZ, that's never gone well for them except this one time. There we go, headshots found. Now Meza able to pick off Cajun, asking questions of that trophy room. And now Gade has a lot of work on his hands, doesn't like what he sees in the vent position, has to back away, leaving the burden to be shouldered by MSL in the ramp position. And he's also unsure what's going on. Gade back down the vents though, catches Split off guard, and that changes everything.
Oh man, now Mauser has a chance to really get a nice backstab in here on Gade, but Gade actually shifts back to the side, catches face crack, and now he's prepared. Almazer, though, is actually going to plant this bomb towards upper. He's going to get the plant due to CT positioning, but he still must win a post-plant 1v2. Spots one in the vent, is trying to challenge, but this is giving time for the other CT to get into position this whole time.
Gade's just harassing. Oh my god, he's so annoying. What? Okay, all right. I thought that was from Gade for a second.
Nah, it was all a clever plan, Dan.
Wow.
A plan to get North to 11 rounds, a big half from the Danes to jump off to a start maybe towards those winners finals a little bit later on today. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be back after the break.
I'm a rootin', tootin', trailblazing cowboy, driving my cattle out west. I'm a rootin', tootin', trailblazing cowboy, doing what I do best. I'm a rootin', tootin', trailblazing cowboy, driving my cattle out west. I'm a rootin', tootin', trailblazing cowboy, doing what I do best. I'm a chap wearing saddle, shining cow, branding fire, building lasso, throwing sharp, shooting cowboy. A whiskey drinking, grub eating, bean chewing, pistol loading, cattle herding, spur wearing cowboy. Just a rootin', tootin', trailblazing cowboy, driving my cattle out west. I'm a rootin', tootin', trailblazing cowboy, doing what I do best.
Welcome back once again. We're live with Counter-Strike action. We've got North and forZe going into that second half on Nuke, and
Dan, I have one question for you.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
No, are you a rootin' tootin' cowboy, Dan?
No, I don't think I can. No, that's not
No,
really
you
my
don't think
thing.
so? Are you not a blazing, cattle riding cowboy?
So you know, I'm very British, though, so I can't relate to anything you're
I don't know if you
talking
can quite pull
about.
that one off. I feel like that's more me over here. Anyway, I'll get away
Over
from that
here.
southern drawl. Yeah.
Well, Jerry's going to open things up with some beautiful pistol action there, taking down 2. But it's a pistol round. Anything is possible here as Jerry, he wants more, he's hungry, and MSL is going to deny him, but the trade is there. But Cajun and AZ is still alive.
Oof. That's a tough one. forZe were looking like they were ahead all the way through, but now it's starting to slip through their fingers, Dan. It's back into a 2 versus 2. AZ has a great position as well, backstabbing through Heaven. As Cajun B still holds on the lobby, they can pitch this upper bomb site here. There is one CT that could be the problem, hiding next to the vent, but AZ makes short work of him. Now it's all on Z Power. I can't believe this round fell away from forZe. It was looking so good at the start.
It was, but they wanted to keep the aggression up, and that was, I think, part of the problem. They gave opportunities to North, and they introduced variants, and now it's going to be a tough one for Sipao. We know that he has the skill to do it. He does not have a kit on him at the moment. I'm not sure if there is one on the way for him to collect. I don't think that's likely. However, he is close enough anyway, so the kit's not a huge deal. He's going to have to kill both of these players regardless. So difficult, this angle. Coming in from above, though, he might get a few shots off here. There finds the headshot onto AZ. He takes a bit of damage. Cajun B shuts it down. Great triple kill from Cajun, lurking around the lobby at first and closing things down. And North, they really put forZe in a bad spot after winning that pistol.
Indeed, they did. Again, it was the over-aggression. You know, just trying to push through, trying to keep leveraging an advantage. It was MSL first who stopped them, and then Cajun B finishes the job with those 3 kills. Up 12-4 now is going to be North. We do see some upgraded pistols, an SMG, and a scout in play for forZe. Let's see if they can't pose a threat early.
Going for it on the upper bomb side here. They will expose the force buy of forZe, but forZe are actually holding on to things here. Flit able to escape with the C side. He needs a reload maybe sooner than later. Position is gained by the T side on the upper bomb side, and the fragging will continue. And they'll make quick work of forZe. North looking good, 13-4, and forZe, they spent some money there. They can't buy in this round.
Exactly. That's going to give North perhaps a free 14th round, unless you're just going to keep force buying. You know, that's really the kind of the tough call you have to make now if you're forced. I feel like you don't have a choice but to just go for a lighter buy. So yeah, they get upgraded pistols with no armor, no utility.
I actually think that, you know, if they did force buy, I don't think anyone could criticize them. I think when you're down this many rounds,
yeah, exactly,
it's going to be hard no matter what.
Yep.
And we'll see if they can do anything in this with what they have here, which is very little. A Deagle, a P250, a couple of 5.7s.
Especially on a map like Nuke too, right? Because you can get away with like SMGs and shotguns, which cost less money, and you're going to get a lot of close quarters situations. So definitely could pull it off, but they decide better of it. Just the pistols are able to exchange some good damage here, but now we're starting to see North clamp down and finish things off of this round at least. All Almaz are now.
It's good decisiveness from North so far, I have to say. You know, they feel very decisive. When they make a decision, they move as a team, good spacing, good coordination, and there's no second guessing anything. And that's good to see a team that has intentions like that.
It does help when you have an in-game leader, Dan.
It does.
It might be shocking to some people to hear that, but you typically, if you have an in-game leader on your team, you'll be able to make better decisions. Provided that they're a good in-game leader. I mean, I think I had to specify that, I suppose.
So far it's working out for North, but this is the only best chance of forZe. You know, they've got that AWP in the hands of Power, full M4s for utility more or less, and a kit on face crack. So they've got pretty much everything they need. But look how fast the positioning outside is for North, 135, and they've already got AZ just threatening heaven.
Again, they're trying to give AZ some of those star aggressive roles and trying to see if they can unlock him a bit more. He has been able to unlock a lot of map space, but unfortunately the kills are going the way of forZe. We do have face crack looking for more. Z Power catching AZ, who was kind of sneaking around. Now Gade will try his bet. Oh, that's awkward. Able to slip the shot, though. But is going to get caught by face crack, who is positioned on another angle. So it is going to be finally forZe, where they needed around most, are able to put one out there, but they still have a long road to travel.
It's just so crazy, because North can do so many crazy strats. They just need 2 rounds, so they can... You know, it's so fragile what forZe are working with. There's almost no margin for error. And if they were to lose this round, they can't really buy.
Right.
So if North, you know, actually this is the round to win for North to close this one out quickly. They go with a slower approach to begin with. We might see that there's delayed outside smokes as we typically do. So no initial door harassment, also very typical in the default on this map. And I'm sure we'll see those outside smokes coming in shortly.
Absolutely. Z Power, though, until those smokes are laid down, I was looking to see if he can take some real estate or maybe even catch someone taking a peek. Not going to be the case, though. North discipline, just sitting back. Now the smokes will come out, but Jerry is in these stairs. And Molly does come out, but he's able to do some nade damage on his way out of there. Just chip damage, though. Nothing that is too pivotal, but still may be of some assistance later on down the road. Maybe that one less bullet you have to shoot.
FaZe will drop off the hub position, looking to engage with Flit. They will defend Squeaky. Cajun making a solo effort there. And AZ once again trying to get that real estate, trying to get that ground towards heaven. And it's very strong if you can get up there. And it looks like they may just be able to do this. I'm not sure if forZe are prepared to have this position open. And this could just kill the round.
Yeah, this is a real problem. Oh, wow. Flip, though, with the response. Absolutely pivotal play there from him. Still in trouble, though, as we are seeing North with a couple of members remaining. But they do have the bomb in their position in heaven, man. That's a real problem for North.
Oh, my God. How they can't get to that unless they boost up from the hub position. And there's no way they're going to be doing that with Jerry lurking around. So Almeza is going to just completely destroy them in Hut. So forZe, they once again pull it off, and it seems like North are really trying to get AZ
I can't wait
into the heaven position, man.
Again. I cannot wait to see those flit shots again, dude. Those are so nice.
That's why the Krieg on the CT side is pretty disgusting.
Exactly.
Okay, so forZe, they're creating some kind of stability within their economy. It's happening. Maybe the confidence will start to arrive for forZe as well. They are hitting some good shots now. We saw it happen to Gen G. They picked up 10 in a row. We can't put it past forZe to be able to do the same.
And if it feels like one of the maps you're going to do, it's like CT Nuke. That's one of the maps that maybe you can get it done. Flit continuing to put the numbers on the board. And Jerry will dot the I's and cross the T's of that one. So 14-7. forZe starting to mount at least a challenge to North. I wouldn't call it a comeback just yet. Need a few more rounds before I feel like North's going to start to sweat.
All right then. One more. That's the name of the game for forZe. One more.
Oh, look close.
Yeah, that was really close. North's trying to be annoying with this utility. forZe staying active outside. See Power looking for information. Sees just a shoulder. That's all though. Not too much else from North. They're much slower moving around for them.
Yeah, looks like they are setting up some smokes for outside though. Maybe not the complete wall, but just a little bit of something out there to have some presence. But now actually they will go ahead and bring 4 players over. The full smoke wall is in effect. Just Kierby kind of lurking behind inside lobby.
I thought he was going
to pull the trigger.
I thought he was going to do it.
Anyway, in the meantime, North has taken control of these back halls. They still have some utility left as well, so we could be seeing some type of hit here commencing very shortly.
Very tentative stuff for these two teams at the moment. Jerry looks like the point of contact. He knows he can move forward. Looks for the second. The follow-up is not there for him, though. Almeza might be able to close it down. He does clean things up nicely, and that is a problem. The bomb is now lost. So North have to strike, and AZ will be the one to do so. Able to win the battle against Almeza. He can move the round forwards with now the possession once again of the bomb, but it's a 3v3. Time is of the essence here. The bomb will get planted, but do they get time for post-plant positions? What a shot there from Power. The trade is there from Gabe, but once again, Flit with the trade of his own, leaving everything on Kierby.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be able to stop the spawn from the defuse. He'll try to get there fast. He actually does stop it, but, I mean, FaZe Crack in the perfect position to trade it right on back and plenty of time to defuse. So an 8th round for forZe. That is now, I believe, 4 rounds in a row. And so it's happening, man. That they're creeping in on North now. Not, again, quite on their heels just yet, but getting those baby steps.
Yeah, absolutely. They're surviving. They're surviving right now. It's a battle of survival, and they're able to past some of these very pressured, very desperate situations and still keep coming out with the wins and hitting some shots. Confidence is likely rising. They still have enough economy to take these losses. And this is another economy building round for forZe. They need to make sure they don't lose any players in this one. They hear the running outside. They know that the big rotation is coming down that lower, towards that lower bomb site. And they just have to stop this dead in its tracks now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this could get dangerous here. As the Power is in the open, he's going to get traded. That's the North now in the hands of the T side. Oh, dear.
Yeah, this is actually a real problem now. Things are starting to get a little bit scary for forZe, especially with those 2 kills coming in. This is not the way you want things to end if you're forZe. You were winning some rounds in a row. You were getting comfortable, and now North are just running it down your throat with a fast outside play that it seemed like forZe were surprisingly unprepared for, Dan. Like, no one was there. You would have thought that with the smoke wall down and the spam through the smoke that we were seeing from forZe, that they would kind of the expectation that that was a threat, but their rotator was Z-Power with an op, and that is definitely not what you need with a bunch of pistols running around.
Yeah, I thought that that forZe had the info that the running was there, like there was a player close enough to hear it, or that it looked like it was very telegraphed. So,
yeah.
As you say, very surprising the rotation wasn't there, and that could cost them absolutely everything. And once again, it looks like a fast movement towards the outside, and they catch the power again. And another challenge comes in. It is shut down. Everything's getting shut down. Jerry with a nice double. That does even the situation up slightly. It slows things down enough here to give Flit and Almeza something to work with.
That is so tough if you're forZe. You know what he was trying to do? He thought that incendiary or that Molotov was going to come in, and he wanted to get in that corner. We saw that last map from Automatic. It's definitely the right maneuver, but unfortunately they kept running. They didn't stop. There was no ceasing of pushing from North, and so they just overwhelm the outside area. Good for several frags. Now they're up in a 3-on-2. AZ is vulnerable, though, so that could maybe give forZe a foothold back into this. And Almeza actually has a pretty good little spot here. It's all going to come down to timing, though, and unfortunately was not looking the right way at the right time. Kierby was on point, though. That leaves it all to Flit. 1 versus 3. Lots of time left on the clock for North to play around with as well, so they can think things through and make the right decision.
I like this from Flit, too. He's gambling here on the lower bomb site, and you have to take a gamble, and he's going to take the correct one, but you can see that the smokes here will create a lot of safety for the north side. They don't really have to worry about any choke points at this point. Flit will move his way up to control to find out that it's smoked. He has to just wait it out. And what's worse is the glass is there. He can't sneak through. It's intact. As soon as he makes contact, his position is going to be likely shut down. And if he tries to move out of the glass, if he takes an engagement, he's in the open. There is really nothing that's looking good here for Flit. He's forcing the hands, and he will get taken down 16-8. A smooth, easy ride for North.
Yeah, it wasn't really tough on them at all. I feel like they were in control of the game the entire time. I mean, again, they had the 4-0 start in the first half. They closed out the first half really strongly as well. I think they had 11-4 when they came into the second half. They won pistol in the second half. So, I mean, pretty much all the things you could hope for to have an easy time they had. There was a little bit of something there from forZe at the end, but not enough to ever really make North feel pressured or feel like they were in any danger. So, good first showing here for the Danes.
Absolutely, and I believe that is going to be all from Dust and myself here for today in terms of casting. You'll be joined by Harry and Hugo later on, but before we reach more cast, of course, it's a break, and then you'll be back with the analyst desk.
This is my revelation, baby. I jamming it to the nation, crying out for more. Turn the spotlight up, wanna get flirty with this funk. Up against the wall. This is my elevation, baby. I'm calling it your creation. Not with thinking, is a new line to my story.
You know, it's a tough time when you have to admit that you're wrong. So I didn't get it right, and that kind of stinks.
Can you repeat that one more time?
I didn't get it right. The 0 on the end of my records is now a 1. But I still think that puts me a little bit higher
I'm 0
up.
for 3, so it's okay. We're okay. We're still okay.
What does that make you? You're 1 and 2 or 2
Huge
and 1?
dub.
Are you 2 and 1 or 1 and 2?
2 and 1.
2 and 1, so we're tied.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's still a win, I guess, for me. I'm still in first place, collectively. So I can't complain, right?
You know what?
At this point,
I can share this with you.
This is the beauty.
Christine, like, can we?
Yeah. This is the beauty of being the 0-3 person, though, is that you can just take all the gamble picks. Because at this point, you're like, if we actually flipped and we went first, you just pick the opposite of us every time.
That was my strategy all along, you know?
We'll just have to put you in the host position and I'll move there so you can be the last person.
Right,
or maybe we can force production to operate in an opposite order. Oh, they can do it. They can do it. They will help us make that possible. I mean, you know, North were impressive. forZe really looked kind of flat on Nuke.
Yeah, in the pregame segment, I said Cajun B and AZ need to step up. And they actually listened.
They
AZ
heard
was
you.
destroying people in secret. He kept on taking that angle by the door, just taking a headshot fight. He luckily had a Krieg for half these. Here it is right here. He was just destroying people from this angle, fearlessly fighting until his death, which he never died, actually, shockingly. And then MSL playing aggressive outside with KRB. All of the players from North showed up here. They looked very organized. They looked better than both the teams in the previous match, in my opinion.
I have to agree with you, and I think organized is the key word that you said there, Sean, and it's so true because when I think about North's adventure or their path to get to this point all of 2019, Gay did all the dirty work. Mither, he did all the dirty work. They've set their foundation. They've figured out exactly what they need to do together cohesively as a unit, and you can see it paying off when things work. In Sevilla, I mentioned North, they didn't execute, but they had a lot of great ideas, and I think you saw those ideas coming out into fruition here.
I mean, there's the crazy thing, right? We talked about XE during the pre-show, and 9-19 performance, definitely not what we expected to see from him for forZe.
Yeah, kind of the opposite side of the coin, right? We thought XE was definitely going to show up in this game. He was the one missing from the entire server out of everyone. You can see it right there on the scoreboard. It's not just reflective in the stats. I mean, he didn't have any real impact throughout this entire game. And that's honestly a lot on North and how they were setting up their players early on to not let him have those picks. MSL never gave up free kills outside. KRB did play very aggressive outside, if I'm being honest, but he did such a good job multi-fracking and setting up rounds early for North where they could turtle into the sites late. The 2v5 on pistol from Cajun and who was AZ? Cajun and AZ, yeah, they had the 2-on-5. That was super impressive. There was just so many things that North did well this game.
Speaking of NMSL, we do have him over here on the couch, so I'm just going to row my way on over.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm very good at this. Well, congratulations on the win. A big one for you guys, coming out picking up a W over a team that's largely kind of the favorite at this event. Do you feel like we're wrong in slating them as the favorite?
Actually not. I think they're a pretty good team. They have been doing well for quite some time now, but I think everyone at this event is like kind of at the same level, and this is where we will see who is the best.
Now, when Nuke came through, were you guys like excited? Were you surprised that you actually ended up on Nuke?
We knew it was gonna be Nuke. We thought it was gonna be Nuke for like 80%, and then another map 20.
What's the dynamic like for you guys too on the team with Jumpy being the coach, him being Swedish, and the rest of the team being Danish? Are you guys in-game calming in Danish, and then he comes in and speaks English when he has time?
Yeah, we are talking Danish, and right now he's of course learning Danish. It's pretty similar, but you need like time to figure out when it goes fast, when you're speaking fast. So he's just learning day by day, and then when he has something, he just talk English and we listen.
Potter has a question for you as well. Go ahead, Potter.
Yeah, MSL, I wanted to ask you, it seems like since you've rejoined this North side, I know I asked you about this in Leipzig, but you've livened up a bit. You're putting up the numbers on that scoreboard. Have you made a conscious change or approach to your opping abilities? How are you bringing or upping your value on this North side?
I mean, both in North at the end, I got the MVP at Stockholm with the MVP, and in Optic I played pretty decent compared to how we did as a team. So I think individually I have been a lot better, especially with the AWP. I feel I can have impact individually while I'm doing like the in-game leader role. So I think it fits pretty good if you have like 4 strong riflers as well.
Sean, you have a question as well?
Yeah, it was more towards the structure of, I guess, the whole team, which obviously MSL is the in-game leader. So for those at home that don't know that somehow, he is the in-game leader. I'm curious how much you focus on anti-stratting, though, in your opponents. Because in the past, you were super strat-based and, you know, you focused a lot on your own team. Was there any anti-stratting going on today against forZe?
Yeah, there's always, but I think today we focused on a lot on shutting down Exit Power. I think like he is the best player on the team, and if we could shut him down and not let him get the peaks that he usually get, then we had it would make it a lot easier for us, and I think we did perfectly with that. So yeah, and then actually it's funny because on that C side they ran us like the 3 rounds they won of the 4 was a strat that we used the most time on anti-stratting, and it didn't work. So yeah,
Unlucky.
we have to look at that.
One last question before I let you go. Do you feel like some of the pressure is off a little bit now that you beat forZe in this opening match? That's probably a team that's one of the strongest teams here.
I mean, for me personally, I'm not having pressure from the outside. I'm having pressure from myself. Like I want to win every tournament, and that's the way I go.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go. Congratulations on the win. We're going to go ahead and throw things to a break. When we come back, it's going to be a barn burner. It's Complexity and MIBR. I personally cannot wait. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned.